everybody, this is Monica from Huckleberry Mountain Botanical School of Herbalism, and I am talking today about just two really quick recipes that you can do for making your own personal products. So we're going to do a really easy sugar scrub. Hi Miranda, and then we'll be doing a lip balm. I pre-made a few lip balms here. I was actually going to do a chocolate peppermint, but then I realized I didn't have any peppermint essential oils. So I'll try and do that in a later one, but today we're just gonna do the basic lip balm recipe, and I added spearmint because that's what I had, and spearmint with a little bit of stevia actually to add some sweetness. So, and that's totally optional, not a requirement. So let me start out by, hi Kana, by doing our body scrub. This is a really, not only simple recipe, but also versatile. So if you want to use different types of sugars, you can even use salt if you want to. You can add different essential oils or, you know, whatever you're in the mood for. So the basic recipe is a half a cup of sugar to a quarter cup of oil. And really the oils are whatever you would want to use. I use olive oil for a lot of my stuff because it's been used traditionally for many years, centuries, and it's really good for the skin. So, but almond oil is there, coconut oil is there. I get kind of irritated with coconut oil, so I choose not to use coconut oil in my products. But you may not have that issue, so you could use that as well. Although if I use coconut oil, I would probably do half of an olive or an almond oil or something, because the coconut oil tends to just really harden, and so that may be not what you're looking for. All right, so we're gonna do a half cup of sugar, and what I did is I actually took a tablespoon of the sugar out. I am using brown coconut sugar, organic coconut sugar, but you can use white. You're not eating it or putting it into your body, so it's perfectly fine to use on externally. And you can decrease this recipe or increase this recipe. So say you wanted to make some gifts for maybe some ladies you were having over, or you were maybe having a little birthday party celebration and you want to put these in like gift bags. Totally feel free to make a bigger batch. Just multiply each portion. So if it's a half cup of sugar and you want to make, I don't know, 6 batches, then you would be using 1.5 cups of sugar, and then instead of a quarter cup oil, you'd be using, am I doing the math right? 1.5, yeah. And then you'd be using quarter cup, no, that's 1.5. So 6 times 1/2 is 3. 3 cups of sugar. I can do maths, I promise. I was a homeschool mom. Okay, so we're gonna do a half cup of sugar. I took a tablespoon out because I'm going to actually put in some ground rose petals in there, and I didn't want to make it too thick. So I'm gonna add a tablespoon of ground rose petals in there as well. But that's an option as well. You don't have to do that. You can add things if you want to, but you don't have to. I just really like the smell of rose petal, and I like the way it feels on my skin. So I got my half a cup of sugar minus the tablespoon, and then a quarter cup of oil. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so simple. Everyone should be doing this. And I do know there's a lot of great companies out there that sell these natural products, but this is so simple and it's fun, and you can have friends over and do it if you want to. I always talk about that because I think that everybody should have their friends over and be like making products. Sometimes, especially us ladies, we'll sit around and kind of talk about worthless things. Sometimes worthless conversations are good, but it's nice to get together and actually do things that allow you to bring something home and grow you a little bit in your skills. Okay, so I'm going to grind up this the rose petals here, if I can remember how to use my machine. Now I'm not going to make them super small because I don't want it to be a powder in there. I do want it to have a little bit of structure. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you kind of how much I did here. So can you guys see that even? Anyway, I hope you can see it. So I ground it, but not too fine because you don't want it to be completely powdered in there. So you're just gonna add that. And then whatever essential oils you want. And this is anywhere from 10 to 20 drops. So depending on how strong of a scent you're going for. Hi Sarah, I'm assuming it's Sarah. You know, you can go really heavy on the essential oil or you can do it lighter. That's totally up to you. So some really neat essential oil flavorings, I guess we can call them flavorings, that I like are lemon and grapefruit. Those are really invigorating to the skin. Lavender, which is soothing, and then Lang Lang if you're feeling sexy. So we're gonna do Lang Lang today. I'm gonna do Lang Lang and Rose, okay? So, and I'm gonna add probably, if I can get it to come out, about 10, because I think Lang Lang is pretty strong. I'm assuming I did around 10 because I stopped counting because I was too busy talking to you. All right. So, oh my goodness, you guys, I wish you could smell here, but you can't smell. This is why you need to be making it at home because, oh, this is magical. Now, one warning about using this in any body scrub even you get in the stores, be careful with the slippery shower, okay? Because this does have oil in it. And once you use it, you could take a nosedive in the shower, and that's never any fun. So just be careful and warn your hubby too. If you've used it before, he's gonna take a shower, or the next day and he gets in there and just slides on his, what is it called, a tuchus? A bum, whatever. All right, so I'm just gonna put this in a jar. This will last up to 2 months, as long as you're careful about dispensing it. Now, if you're sticking your hands in there and using it, it's going to wear down a little faster. And if water gets in there, so just be careful when you're using it in the shower. Keep it up out of the water. Make sure the lid is on tight so that moisture isn't getting in. And this will last for quite a while. They have those cute little scoops. I have one in my bathroom. Cute little scoops that you could use to scoop it out so you're not putting in, you know, nasty finger germs or whatever. So keep it covered, and if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can always keep it in the refrigerator and take it out. There are so many options with this. I've even done it with coffee, because coffee grounds, and I actually use spent coffee, and so there is some water that's been introduced into that, so I make less and use it quicker. But that's really invigorating to the skin as well. So anyway, have fun with this. Let me know if you make it and what flavors or whatever you chose, because mine's a rose petal Lang Lang, which I know I'm gonna love. Okay, so now we're on to the lip balm. Now, you guys, lip balm is not hard to make. It takes very, very few ingredients, and as a matter of fact, it really only takes 2, unless you want to make something a little more fancy or whatever. And so if you're just going for a basic lip balm, you need oil and you need beeswax. But today I'm going to be adding my spearmint essential oils, and essential oils are just, they're nice. Not taste tested. I did that too. But I did test my lip balm, and so did Lindy this morning, and I was like, it's very refreshing on my lips. It kind of brings them to life. Lip balm has a little bit more beeswax than a typical salve would. Okay, usually when I make my salve or my body balms, they're a little more giving and spreadable. You don't have to make them that way, but I generally do. When I'm making a lip balm, you don't want it to be soft. You don't want to be rubbing it over your lips and it's just gushing everywhere. So I do add a little bit more beeswax to my lip balm. So the proportions for this are 1/4 ounce beeswax by weight for 1 ounce of oil by volume. And again, you can multiply this and do better math than I did earlier. I think Kana will sympathize with me on that, right, Kana? Okay. So if you're going to do this and you want to make, again, gifts or larger portions, out of the amount that I used today, I was able to make 7 tubes. And I'm not going to go pouring all 7 today because it's hot. And I'm just gonna tell you a little story here. So I have my canning supplies, and I keep them under this table here. We have a shelf that allows me to keep all my canning things. Hero has decided that what are they called? They pick up you know, the jars out of the hot water was a really cool toy. And so he ended up playing with it and breaking it, and I didn't realize he broke it until a couple days ago, and I forgot to replace it. So I will be using my hands today. I do not suggest that for you. Okay, when I make salves or balms, I use jars, and the reason I do is because look at that mess. Okay, I don't want to have to clean this out of a pot. It is so much easier. If you're making something larger, get a larger jar, or pick a pot that you don't care about and that you don't plan on using in the kitchen, so you don't have to sit there and try and get every single little bit of beeswax off. It's really stubborn and extremely difficult to remove. So I use jars or things that I'm not going to be using for regular cooking, so I don't have a disastrous mess. Also, I guess I just turned this on. I want to show you, I place these at the bottom of all of my pots when I'm working with the jars. It keeps them up off the bottom and allows it to not get so hot that it's going to burst. And that brings me to another warning. When you are using jars to make salves and balms, make sure not to use them too many times. Okay, these canning jars are great and they'll last for quite a while. But every single time you heat it up, it decreases the stability of the glass. So just be cognizant of what you're doing, because if you use it too long, or if you've used them for pressure canning or anything like that, you may have a spill. Fortunately for me, if it does bust open and break, I've wasted a little bit of oil, but I haven't gotten it all over the place. So I'm gonna put that in there, and I use those little things. I have 3 at the bottom to keep my jar up and off of touching the base of the pot. Okay, and you guys, this is so simple. I am using infused oil that I've made, and it's a calendula. This is my favorite combination of infused oil to make into salves and balms. It's got calendula, why am I not remembering everything it has in there? Comfrey, plantain, and one more that I'll remember in a minute. I wish Lindy were here. She could tell me, but she had to leave. All right, so again, the 1/4 ounce beeswax to 1 ounce oil. That's what I have, and this will get you these little tubes. These tubes are so cute. These are really fun. You don't have to use these, but these are super cheap on Amazon. I'll put a link in there where I buy, you know, which ones I buy. They hold a little under 1/4 of an ounce, and so you can kind of figure out how much is going to fit in there. But you have to include the beeswax, obviously. And they're just super handy. The one warning about bringing balms or anything like that in your purse is that they may melt. It's like anything else, although I think some of the commercial ones, like chapstick or whatever, have something in there that stabilizes them a little more. But we're using all natural, so don't think that, you know, you can stick it in a hot purse in a hot car and you're not going to get a little bit of leakage or spillage, or you're going to go opening up your lip balm and it's going to like, you know, all over you. So that's what part of the reason why I like the clear, because you can tell if they're melted or not, and you can keep the lid on. But I've used non-clear as well. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea. Today's been an exciting day for me. So a little bit stressful. I made myself some stress relief tea, and you're joining me. That's good. Okay. All right. So I'm going to tell you 2 different ways. I'm putting the oil straight in here, and then I am putting the beeswax straight in as well. There are some herbal books that you'll bump into that will have you melting beeswax first and then adding the oil and then allowing it to come up. And you can do that. You can do it either way. I just find that it's easier to just stick the oil and the beeswax in there and allow them to get warm. I am probably going to add a little bit more water though, because you want, I wish I could move the camera. You want the water level to be just slightly above the oil and beeswax level, so that it's all under that water a little bit, and it'll melt a little bit faster because it's an even heat, if that makes sense. I use a chopstick to do a lot of my stirring and all that, partly because these are super, super easy to clean, so much easier than even, spatulas and stuff. And I've got tons of them, so I don't really care about it getting ruined. I use chopsticks for, like, seriously, that's one of the tools you should have as an herbalist, is a chopstick, because it works really, really great for getting air bubbles out of like herb-infused oil or tinctures or anything like that. It's a really nice tool. And so I use that here, and I'll keep stirring this. And it takes a little while to melt, but just kind of keep an eye on it. And as soon as it's melted, you'll want to take it off the heat, and that's when we'll be adding things. So while we're waiting for that, you don't have to have it on high. You don't want it necessarily boiling, but you do want the water hot. This I highly recommend, okay? And I don't care what kind you get, but you need to get a funnel when you are working with these small little things. Seriously, it's kind of ridiculous. Oh, you've been wondering which one of what is good. This is a terrible thing about the delay here with this live. So I always use the funnel, and see, this one fits perfectly into the tube. The only thing you need to be careful of is not to block the air, because it could seem like the oil isn't going in, and then you slightly lift it, and then you have a disastrous mess. The other thing is, this really, I would say, oh, it takes practice and you won't spill anything. Hi, Julia. Hey, you're a neighbor. I consider Sandpoint a neighbor. But it's not that it takes practice. I still, even this morning, I was like, wow, I'm a rock star. I wasn't going over. I was like perfectly measured to the top. And then I got to like 6'1". And for some reason, I like over poured majorly, and it just like spilled all over. So if you do that, don't feel like it's, like I'm such a novice. No, it's not from being a novice lip balm maker. It's because it's a tough skill. It really is. And it's not going to be perfect every single time. So be prepared for spillage. And with that in mind, I want you to look at what I'm using. Okay, this tray. And this is an old, I swear to you, I think this came out of a cafeteria. I want to say I found it, like, I don't dumpster dive, but I would walk along the side of the road, and if people are giving away or getting rid of like perfectly good stuff, I'm taking it home. So to me, this was like why is someone throwing away a perfectly good tray? I think I actually got quite a few of these trays, and I also got other ones too. We'll talk about that later. So anyway, do it on a tray. So if you do spill over, it's not a big deal. It's not getting stuck on your counters, and you're not over there like peeling off wax for the next 10 days. You know how when wax candle or like the wax burners kind of spill over or something, and it's just is annoying. So don't do that. Be prepared, use a tray, keep the mess off of your counters. This is almost melted here. And I just want to let you all know that I am sacrificing my finger health for you today, because I don't have that little can, that jar thing to remove it out of there. And I was burning my fingers trying to make those other 7 things. So appreciate the sacrifice that I'm making right now. I'm just going to make one, and that's why I'm only going to make one. But I did tell some ladies, if you're showing up and are local, I'm happy to give you a tube of my already made stuff if you want it. Just let me know. You need to message me or something. All right. So this is fully melted now. All right. Yes, I'm going to take it off. Whew. That's hot. So you do want to use one of those jar things, because it really helps a lot. Now, in this case, there is, again, a lot of flexibility with the flavoring. You can choose different flavors. I think orange or lemon is really, really good. But today I am making spearmint. And I just like the taste of spearmint. I'm sorry, something just popped up on my screen. Sorry about that. So I'm going to add the spearmint now. This can be 2 to 4 drops per 1/4 ounce. So however many ounces you have going on, since we can fit probably 8 if I was a better pourer, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that we have 8 quarter ounces. So I got this, this is 2 ounces, and well, I'm gonna put about 20 drops, I guess, is what I'm gonna do here. Because I like flavor. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting around eating my, my balms or anything like that. But if I do lick my lips, which I do quite a bit, I like to have flavor. But you can use very little or nothing at all. And I'm adding some stevia too, because that's just a little sweet. It's a liquid stevia, organic, real simple and easy. Another warning I want to give you about this is you need to pour quickly, because as the salve or the balm goes in, as soon as it hits that cold surface, it begins to get cool, and then it starts kind of hardening. And what I found is after about 6, you have to almost use the chopstick to make a hole and allowing it to continue to go through, because it just keeps thickening and thickening and thickening, kind of like cholesterol in arteries. But so I pulled it up slightly because I don't want it to create that vacuum seal again where no air can get in, and so it's sitting there and then you lift it up and it spills everywhere. So I just kind of lift it up slightly. I'm gonna take this and oh, see, you guys are gonna be impressed. I'm gonna do it. I think I got it. It's not quite to the top. I do like going all the way to the top. So I'm gonna put a little bit more in. I am spilling everywhere, you guys. No worries. All right. So I want to show you the color difference, and I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you guys even see the color difference? Just so you can see the difference between what is already hard and cooled and what isn't. And the reason I want you to pay attention to this is because if it's not cooled and you put the cover on it before it's cooled, it's going to bring in some moisture in there. So you want to let it stay uncapped. You do this with salves too. Keep the cap off until it's totally cooled and there's no moisture or heat left, and then you can cap it and put the lid on. I'm not even gonna talk about how long these will last, because they will last for a long time. It's not gonna last as long as, it's gonna last way past the point that you'd be using it anyway. So those are the 2 super simple, easy recipes to do that are just fun. And I totally encourage you to invite some friends over and have like a night where you're doing some beauty products. I'm gonna do 2 more on Thursday. I'm thinking a facial steam and maybe my herbal bath blend, which I absolutely love, or possibly something else. I don't know. If you have any ideas or you have something that you'd like me to demonstrate, let me know, and I can add that onto one of my lives, possibly Thursday, if you tell me soon enough. Okay, until next time, health and joy. I'm coming around because I got to turn the live off.